Hi, community of Roastbrief. We're here with Jennifer Schedule and Sergio Claudio, uh, head of One Cool for Black Creative. Hi, guys. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi, Ellie.
Guys, we're really excited to get to know a little bit about One School has this incredible impact since its launch in 2020. You guys have an 80% higher rate and graduates working on major brand campaigns. I don't know which one of you guys would like to answer, but as one of the as the new head of One School, what are your key priorities for expanding and strengthening the program?
Yeah, thank you, Ellie. No, as you mentioned, we've got that 80% high rate is something we've been really proud of because, for us, that shows that the students have been well prepared to go into the workforce. And, they've been getting the training, they've been getting the exposure and the access to the skills that they need to be able to apply for positions and land these positions at some really prestigious organizations. As we think about the future of the program, we still want to continue to strengthen our curriculum, right? There's new technologies that are being introduced. There's new skills that are going to be required of the, growing workforce that we want to continue to invest in our program. But also, one of the things that we've been very pleased to recognize is that we're creating a community of professionals, right? I think when One School started, we were starting with our first, 16 students in our first cohort. Now we've graduated over 250 students who are now alumni and they're in the working world. We also have our mentor community. We also have our tutors who dedicate themselves to the program. And as we look at that, we've developed this community of professionals that can benefit from continued education, continued skills development, whether it's honing their craft as designers or copywriters, if it's helping, expose them to the latest trends and technologies, if it's helping them prove their business impact as creatives as they rise in these organizations. So one of our key priorities is to continue investing in our alumni and our professional community that we develop to help prepare them with the skills they need to succeed.
Yeah, just to build on that a little
Uh,
bit. So
mhm.
Sergio's been with One School since day one. I came in 3 months later, so it wasn't quite day one. But in all the conversations I was having with Bob and Oriole and the folks at the One Club about One School is that we had a strong desire to see our graduates become tutors and heads of school. And we're actually approaching that. We're not quite there yet. But one of the things I think is so amazing about the community that we're building is that we're able to go to our alumni and bring them in to give them training that they won't get at their job. So, one of the most difficult things in the creative community, when you have a job in creativity, is reviewing someone else's work. You just have to do it over and over again, and you have to learn the vocabulary, the way to deliver that information. And so, what we've started doing is we're bringing back some of our original alumni and their tutor assistants in the courses. So every week they're sitting in on the creative reviews led by the tutors. And about midway through the semester, the tutors all usually let the TA take a shot at doing the review one night. And every single one has said, it was the hardest thing I've done, but I'm so glad that I did it. So we're giving them the skills that they need in the workplace. And what Sergio and I are hoping to do, because we only have 4 cohorts and only 4 opportunities for that at this point, is to figure out a way that we can imbue that into the rest of our alumni and make that a bigger scalable thing.
That's amazing, guys. Yeah.
Thank you. I do want to add to that, just as
Mhm.
Jen said, it's an incredible leadership development opportunity for our creatives, right? And so, as Jen said, once they start working, they're executing the work, they're becoming part of pitches, they're becoming part of briefs, but people management and leadership and reviewing work can be an area where they need to grow. And by coming back and being involved in One School and by being mentors and by being able to nurture talent, it is giving them the skills that they need to be able to help negotiate promotions in their careers as they're in, 2, 3, 4 years in as well.
That's amazing, guys. Also, now that you're checking out that Jen was talking about, um, you guys been involved in One School since its early days. We would like to ask, how has that experience in your respective roles shaped your vision for leading the program?
I'll let Jen go first.
So I was brought in to operationalize the school to begin with. And then started to get some structures and systems in place and was really involved with talking with the tutors and everything. And so my role has grown as I've grown in my role now as head of the creative development department at the One Club for Creativity. So the one thing that I've learned from this that helps keep me going is that we're never finished. There's always improvements that we can make. And I practice restless dissatisfaction. So we have a really great thing going on now, but I know it can be better. And so it's just looking at what we've learned from input from people who've hired our graduates, from people who've gone through the program, from mentors. Hey, what could make this better? What skills are they lacking? So we're constantly tweaking things and making it better for the next class that's coming in. And so, it's the best thing I've done in my career. And I am really excited to be accepted into this community as an ally and an advocate for this community. And it brings me joy. It makes me happy. It's one of my favorite things to talk about.
That's great. Yeah, I would say from my experience, there's a couple things. I'd say the first is, not only are our students diverse, but the types of creativity that they bring to the table are diverse. And it's reflective of an ever evolving shift in the industry where you have, copywriters, you have art directors, you have strategists, but now you have content creators and you have all these different types of opportunities and professions that are available. But at the same time, you're seeing students that are coming in just with a wide range of interest. Whether they're fine artists, whether they're into content and media, journalists that are coming in and looking in to apply their creativity and writing skills towards advertising. And so that's been really great to see is just how diverse that creativity is. For myself as a professional, one of the things that's been really beneficial is to have, a front row seat to, the latest and greatest talent that are coming, into the industry, right? And how they think and, what types of cultural influences, are they paying attention to and the applications that they use and how they discover brands and discover, new messages. And so, that's been, deeply beneficial just to be able to stay connected to young talent and, understand how the ways that they think shift. As it relates to the future, as I've been around since the very beginning, I feel like I've sort of played every position on the field, right? From mentor to sponsor to tutor as well, and head of mentorship. And what that's given me a sense of is, how our needs are evolving as a school, right? We talked about, what our needs look like in our first semester and how they look very different in year four. And, and having that sense of community where everyone continues to share sort of what they're experiencing, and they're starting to look to us to help be a resource and a partner to help them succeed after the program. That's really been beneficial to see that journey and then know where to apply different types of speakers, different types of partners, different types of career opportunities that are right for those stages.
Yeah. Now that you talk about this authenticity of your students, we would like to ask you, how do you plan to cultivate this approach that one has in this landscape of advertising and tech and all these things that are changing rapidly? How do you plan to cultivate this? Yeah.
One of the things I'll jump in here. One of the things that we come to find is I think historically these industries have had a tendency to look for cultural fit, right? Someone that's going to fit into an existing culture. And one of the things that we think is very special about One School and the students that come through the program is them being a cultural add, right? They bring something different to the table that doesn't exist at that culture today. And so we spend a lot of time with our students helping them recognize their strengths, helping them recognize how to use their individual perspectives and their individual creativity and their individual voices in ways that improve the organizations that they're a part of and bring fresh thinking, different perspectives, and not shy away from sort of their individuality, but more so amplify their individuality as they step into these roles. And what we're finding is that that's how it's really stretching, right? It's not necessarily them shying away from the things that make them more unique and make them more well-rounded, but making sure that they lean into their differences and that they lean into their edge to give them that unique perspective that's making them so successful in their careers.
So also to build on that, Sergio, the motto for the school is creatively excellent and unapologetically Black. And one of the things that the tutors do a great job of is saying, keep your authenticity in your work. Don't change it. That is what people need. And as we've been evolving, we're finding that we have a great group of ally recruiters who understand how to pitch our students because you can't just hire them on and have them be the other in the corner. Like they need community and they need resources. And because we're teaching creative ideation, they might need a supplement and help them with Photoshop or these skills that are learnable. But what we're providing is, really potent, authentic voices and work that looks different than any other traditional book that's out there. So we talk about that authenticity a lot, and making sure that we're staying true to the motto, creatively excellent, unapologetically Black.
Yeah, for sure that also supports like this long-term sus sustainability, their growth of the student for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, on that long-term sustainability, I mean, that's what we've said is that, our mission, part of our mission has always been to help these students get hired. Our next chapter of our mission is to help them become leaders in the industry, right? So it's helping keep them in their jobs or their next jobs. It's helping them negotiate for higher opportunities, and ultimately they become the leaders that start to drive change from the top down.
Yeah, for sure. Checking about precisely about that, would like to know um, if there are some specific strategies to ensure that that growth and sustainability for the students of one school.
Yeah, one school, the way the program is structured, it's a 16-week program that focuses on how to help students solve business problems with creative ideas and creative concepts. And so we spend a lot of time helping the students understand insights and understand customers and audiences to make sure that they're knowing how to connect with the voice of a customer and connect customers to the goals of a business. Now, another part of that program that we find to be very successful as they transition into, well, two parts of the program that we find to be very successful is one, how to deal with feedback, right? They're going to enter organizations where they're a part of a team, where they have, creative leadership who's going to be evaluating their work. And so we teach them how to manage feedback and revisions and work collaboratively with different teams and involve different types of ideas and different types of thinking that make them more ideal candidates for working within agencies and working within brand creative teams, right? They understand how to take feedback and how to iterate on the work. I would say the last piece that we really focus on that helps lead to their success is the storytelling around their work, being able to present a concept and walk an audience, whether it's an internal creative leadership team or it's a client, through the problem that they were trying to solve, the insights that they gained around the audiences and channels that would engage best, and then, the creative idea, the big idea and emotional concept that they think is going to help drive the business. And then on top of that, we have them connect that idea to the business results that they're trying to drive. So, those are some of the core components of the program that really help contribute to the readiness of the students to be able to work in these environments. And again, just as we continue to hear once they're working, their ability to come with unique ideas and unique insights into the room, their ability to advocate for certain types of concepts because of, customer need and business need. Those have been some of the keys to success from what we've heard from our alumni who are out in some of these agencies.
I would actually say one of the superpowers to build on that, superpowers of the one school is that we provide a lot of soft skills for people that they wouldn't learn elsewhere. So in a traditional portfolio school, it's about the work, the work, the work. But the students are learning critical thinking and problem solving, adaptability, creativity, how to work as a team. And so it's all these things that there isn't really a school to go to that you usually learn on the job. So our students are entering the industry more equipped to do with those soft skills and that are not very tangible, but they've been working on them for 16 weeks. And then, they continue on in their career and they have a leg up on other people because they're like, oh, yeah, no, I did that. I know how to manage my time. I know how to work on a team. I know the first thing to do on a brief. So I think that that's one of the things that really makes our graduates unique.
Yeah, for sure. That's amazing. That as full growth, not only like this square of academic growth, but like the whole thing they're gonna need, the tools they're gonna need for their lives.
Yeah.
Claudia, your career spans top brands like Amazon and Apple, and blending creativity and technology and marketing. How will this background influence the way you lead one school and prepare students for the industry?
You know, it's really interesting. Thank you for that question. We've had discussions. We have five regional cohorts. We've got New York, we've got LA, we've got Chicago, Atlanta, and we've got the UK. And one of the things that we've started to recognize is that our regions start to reflect sort of the industries of those regions as well. So when you think about sort of some of the core foundations of one school, it was birthed in, let's say, traditional advertising with copywriter, art direction, and strategy roles in mind. But as the school has evolved, we've seen a lot more tech influence come in with students who are interested in UX design. And so with a lot of our partners and mentors that might be based in California or be based in Silicon Valley and coming from companies like Adobe or Intuit or Apple or Snapchat and several others, you do have more of an influence starting to come in that's preparing our students to understand how to build applications, how to work on UX design and user flows and web experiences, how to navigate strategic partnerships between a technology company and another type of brand. And so what is happening is that we're starting to see a very broad, creative spectrum that the students are being exposed to. Another thing that we do early on in the program is that we do share resources with students around the many different types of creative roles that are out there. Yes, there are traditional advertising roles like copywriting and art direction, but when you get into the brand side, creative organizations or even tech creative organizations, a lot of those copy jobs might show up as content marketing or content creation, content management. Same thing with, say, our producers, the people who are more interested in driving the creative collaboration, helping them find roles as sort of design managers, as creative producers, as studio managers. And so, that those diverse influences of tech, marketing, advertising have actually created more opportunities that the students are being exposed to find the right path for their creativity.
And one of the really
Oh,
beautiful,
that's
one of the beautiful things about that is that, we have students who, as they go through the semester, they realize, I don't know that I want to do this. We had one student in Chicago whose heart was in music. And so Terrence and Lewis had a heart to heart with him and said, look, we don't want you to spend the next 4 weeks working on a creative portfolio that you're not going to use. Your heart's in music, and there's a lot of opportunities for creativity in the music realm with advertising. So that student, didn't spend the last 4 weeks working on a portfolio. They spent the last 4 weeks connecting with different production companies in the Chicago area and looking for a job where he could use his love of music and advertising and creativity. So I think it's not just about you're going to be an art director or copywriter. We're going to also look at you and say, this isn't quite feeling right for you. And here's something I think that you might help them explore these other avenues that we're not able to do in the 16 weeks.
well, that's amazing. That's great for him actually, because it allows them to find their own path, and the way you help them, we think is really great. Yeah, guys. To finish, we would like to know, looking ahead, how do you see the role of Black creatives such as him, for example, evolving in advertising, marketing, and tech?
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Oh, no, were you going to say more about that?
Yeah. specifically also, which steps should you think agencies and brands should take to foster these creatives you are getting out there? Like, how do you think both can collaborate, and how do you see their future together?
When our students graduate, we often have our sponsors, partners, and agencies join the graduations. And one of the things that we tell them is that, we encourage them not to just hire our talent because they're Black talent, but to hire them because they're the best creative talent that they were going to get at this stage, right? And the reason why we say that is because diversity makes their influences to their creativity much more vast and much more broad than maybe perspectives that aren't as diverse, right? And also the curiosity that they're bringing to the table, they're not faced with challenges that maybe traditional or more tenured creatives might be faced with. You have older generations of creatives that might be questioning the role of artificial intelligence in their creative work. These students are coming in building portfolios with AI in their work, right? You have other teams that maybe they're just caught in their river of thinking. They've been in the industry for so long, or they've been in certain regions for so long. This school is open to students all across the country, from Yakima, Washington to Memphis, Tennessee. And so what they're bringing is, connection to people and connection to different regions and experiences and influences that are going to drive different types of thinking within the company. And so, when you ask how we see the future, we continue to see the future as more diverse voices sitting around the table and more, diverse creatives being empowered to use their unique perspective and unique voices to drive different types of thinking in the room. And at the end of the day, customers are going to want work that reflects the way that they feel, the way that they look, the lives that they lead. And to be able to be the best at creating that type of work, you need people that look and feel like those customers in that room.
I have nothing to add to that. That was great, Sergio.
We can't hear
Oh,
you, Elizabeth. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I was telling you that was like a great way to close it, guys. Um, and we're very thrilled to see what comes next to One School, and to keep in touch, uh, the Roastbrief community to to continue witnessing what's going to happen. We will be thrilled to hear more cases and to know more about your students. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.